Welcome back to Brush Up Your Game, and today we are taking a re-review look at Wave Zero's USS Reliant. Now, this is a Federation ship, so you can imagine, oh, this is the Reliant in Wrath of Khan before Khan took over. Well, kind of. Uh, but yeah, it's a 2-2-3-3, so low on offense, high-ish on defense. Nice shield value, though. Two crew and a weapon, no tech to speak of. That's okay. The Enterprise D didn't have tech either. We'll live. 180 firing arc plus a 90 rear. Go Reliant. That's more firing arc than the TOS Enterprise got. Hey. Uh, Same action bar as the Enterprise. And for a long time, what I considered one of the best named abilities in the game. You gain +1 attack die when firing at range 1. So your range 1 attacks got you to 4 dice with a primary, and any secondary weapon, that was a nice bonus attack die. Very maneuverable ship. 2 and 3 white turns on 180 basically meant you could turn and target just about anything. It was tough to hide from the Reliant. It still is tough to hide from the Reliant. A 2 backup, it's a nice move. Good little jump there. 4 green, not the most green maneuvers ever, but this is a little ship. It's not meant to have all kinds of crazy green maneuvers to clear aux power off of it. The generic goes down to 12. And that to me just screams, hey, this needs to be recosted a bit. I know, I'm harping on it, but it doesn't have the firepower. It doesn't have the stats to justify being 20 points. Not anymore. And yeah, I know. Khan shows up right away. So you can make the argument, should this Reliant have been independent? Well, no, it's a Federation ship. Should there have been a card that turned it into an independent ship, a la Captured from a later pack? Yeah, that would have been great. A Captured with restrictions? Ooh, even better. That would be fun. Or, here's 2023 thinking, a second version of the Reliant in this pack with the independent, the Khan version of it. That would have been cool as well. Now, eventually we do get that as a prize ship. We'll take a look at that down the road. But, we got what we got now. Khan at skill 8 is a 5-point captain with talent slot. You may use any upgrades without paying a faction penalty. Fun. Now, Khan does still pay a faction penalty. So really, at least at this point in the game, he's a 6-point captain because there are no independent ships yet, and there won't be for a while. But, Khan can go on a fair number of ships. During an attack, if you spend a battle station token, each of your battle station results becomes a crit instead of a hit. So now you're actually looking to roll battle stations instead of normal hits because, boy, if you can get a whole bunch of crits, this is fantastic. Khan, this version of Khan, tough to pull off, but a really cool ability if you can. More crits, better. And I will say, you couple Khan with any of the newer weapons that say crits that would damage shields instead inflict damage to hull. Normal damage to hull, not crit damage to hull. Those are great. Now, those are Klingon weapons, typically, but there's some play there. Now, while we're at it, I'm going to bring in a promo. And this is the Gen Con, the 2013 con. And WizKids might still have a deal on this. Might not. Check out their web store, though, where if you bought X amount of dollars of Attack Wing product, you got this card. So, Gen Con promo con. Skill 6, 4 points with a talent. You don't pay a faction penalty when assigning con or any talent upgrade to your ship, so you still got to pay faction penalties for, crew, weapons, tech. But if any captain in play has a higher captain skill than con's skill number equals that captain skill number. And that's fun. That means con never really gets outflanked because that's a replace value, and then you can modify on top of that. But if somebody modifies on top of con, then you just modify up to equal it. It gets kind of crazy. The math is messy, but this guarantees you get a shot. You will never die without getting a shot, unless you get the crit that says you don't get to use your captain skill, in which case, well, that's a big womp for con. Anyway, back to the Reliant pack. Our other captain is Clark Terrell, and at skill 2, he is mostly unremarkable. However, for a 2-skill, 1-point captain, any friendly ship within range 1 of your ship gains +1 defense die. And Clark Terrell is coming back in style. I would say coming back in style with a vengeance, because the Saber fleet, with some of their abilities, is definitely a thing, and Clark Terrell is a big piece of that. And that's only if you like faction pure. If you like faction mixing, Clark Terrell's been a thing for a while with named Jem'Hadar attack ships. So Clark Terrell, definitely worth getting. And other people, people have multiples of this because they probably have multiple Reliants. And do they need multiple of the named ship? Probably not. So they have multiple Clark Terrells, and they only need one. So, anywho, Clark Terrell, worth trying to get a copy of. Con also, I'd say worth trying to get a copy of. Not quite as much. The Reliant, also worth trying to get a copy of. Superior Intellect. It's a card that makes me go, eh. It's an action. Discard this card. Target a ship at range 1 to 2 that's not cloaked, has no active shields. Steal one face-up upgrade card of your choice from that ship, even if that upgrade exceeds your ship's restrictions, which is cool. Stealing an upgrade is a cool effect in the game. We don't have tons of steal cards, but it's a one-time use. It's 5 points. You got to have the right set of situations, not cloak, no active shields, in range 1 to 2. There's a lot that has to go right, and I just don't buy that all that stuff's going to happen for me at the right times in order to make good use of Superior Intellect. I've seen it work a couple of times. More often than not, it's a card that goes to waste. Now, in the Enterprise video, I mentioned I Stab at Thee because it combos very nicely with Cheat Death. But if your ship was just destroyed, roll 3 attack dice, inflict the resulting damage on all ships within range 1 of your ship. That includes your own ships, by the way. These ships do not roll defense dice against this damage. But it's 3 points. To give you a last laugh, it's a nice ability. And you can win the game if you get destroyed, use I Stab at Thee, and kill somebody's last ship. That's a cool effect, right? That truly is the last laugh. So, I Stab at Thee, something that a lot of people tend not to like because, well, you have to die in order to use it. But I think it's worthwhile to have in your fleet. It is non-unique, so there was a bit of an arms race for copies of I Stab at Thee at some point. Yeah, it can make it tougher to get a hold of than it probably should be. Photon torpedoes, these I believe are a direct copy of the ones that came in the tiny prize. 4 dice, 3 points, range 2 to 3. Spend your target lock, disable a card, convert a battle station to a crit. You can fire this weapon forward rear arcs. And again, I go, do they really matter? Probably not. Joachim, either, both have been said in Star Trek. Each time you inflict a crit on an enemy ship's hull, you may draw 2 damage cards instead of 1, and choose which one to place beside the enemy ship's card. Discard the unused damage card. Has a place, is a bit of a win more effect, and ultimately isn't going to help you win the game. I was commenting the other day, well, by the time this recording goes out, a few weeks back, and I said, at the end of the day, you have to remember the condition you want to inflict on your opponent is dead. That's the one that matters the most. Removing their upgrades, killing captains, discarding upgrades, stealing stuff, that all helps. That's all part of the plan. Here, choosing crits, that can help. But most crits in the deck are fairly innocuous. If you can pull a direct hit, that's great. That'll help you. That might even be the killing shot. If you can pull a minor explosion, now they got a 3 out of 8 chance of taking a secondary damage. A warp core breach, now they got to make a choice. Do you take a 1 in 8 roll? Do you make an action to have limited dials? But more often than not, this is 4 points that is probably better spent elsewhere. Thematic play, get mission play, absolutely. I'll bring Joachim to put the hurt on. If I know I'm getting crits, if I'm running con where I know I'm going to get a lot of crits, I'll run Joachim to combo that, to pick my crits, to make my damage hurt more every single time. That might be a build sometime. I might mess around with that build strategy. But I still have to protect myself. I still want to get more dice. I still want to make every single shot hurt. And end of the day, picking my crits is not going to be the difference in winning or losing, probably. All right, Pavel Chekhov, yes, he was noticeably missing from the Enterprise pack. So here he shows up in Reliant. For 3 points, you can remove 1 auxiliary power token after performing a white maneuver, which has its uses. Would be amazing in Alliance play. I would love to see this ability in Alliance. Just to be able to, hey, I did a white, I get an ox off? Great. Fantastic. Yeah. But Chekhov works pretty well on Voyager because Voyager takes ox power, and then you can do any maneuver on Voyager's dial, on the Intrepid dial, and you get rid of an ox power. And it works. And then lastly, well, not quite lastly, last of our Fed crew, we have Kyle. Kyle was kind of the transporter chief on the Enterprise, and the last kind of pseudo-regular we had. Kyle is a 2-point crew in action. If you performed a green maneuver this round, repair 1 shield and reduce your total attack die by 2 this round. Without the conditional. Without the penalty. This is good. Just, if you performed a green maneuver this round, repair 1 shield. I'll take that as an action. If you wanted it to be text as is, I would have preferred it without being an action. Just after performing a green maneuver, repair 1 shield, reduce your total attack dice by 2 this round. That's a 2-point card. Not and an action, then it's just being selfish. But yeah, that's Kyle. I don't think Kyle's worth chasing down. Chekhov is. Joachim, personal preference. You're going to make a choice there. Lastly, we have the Follower of Khan. And a Follower of Khan's a 1-point card, so you know it's not amazing. But Follower of Khan, action, if your ship's not cloaked, disable all your remaining shields. Target a ship in range 1 and 2 that's not cloaked, has no active shields. Discard this card and 1 crew upgrade of your choice on the target ship. Well, it's a Param Bokra clone from the Romulan faction. It's, I don't remember what the Klingon version is, but there's a Klingon version of this. There's a lot of these that go around. This is just the independent version of it. Again, it's the same basic idea. Is it great? No. Is it worth bringing for 1 point? Yeah, maybe. Are there better 1 point cards now, 10 years later? Yes. Yes, there are. Back in the day? No, there really weren't. But now, yeah, there are. So anyway, that's the pack. I do think there's some cards that are worth it. I think, well, just to recap again, Chekhov, Joaquin, I Stab at Thee. That's the best card in this pack. Khan, Clark Terrell. Clark Terrell is also up there for best card in the pack. Clark Terrell's probably more versatile than I Stab at Thee, so have that. And the Reliant. The Reliant also very good. Anyway, take all of that. Go forth, use that information as you will. Hopefully, you old-timers have enjoyed a stroll down memory lane. Wave 0 is now complete. Next up, we got the Creighton and the resource, the Elite Attack die that came with it. And then we'll be moving on to Wave 1 and doing 2 ships a week with that. So the waves shall be flying, 2 waves a month. Almost WizKids release schedule. A little faster than that, but all right. Hey, thank you all for watching, and until next time, keep brushing up your game. Take care.